GMFB. We're live in New York City. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's March 27th, and boy, we have an hour from you. We will hear from all of the head coaches. All 32 are together in Orlando for the annual league meeting, and they have this thing called the Coaches Breakfast. And this is the day after they take the photo, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday.
That happened. We'll get to that. Trust me. And then what goes down at this breakfast?
Yeah, they're surrounded by media members. There's free food. There's waffles, omelet, and you just ask them every single question. A lot about the draft, a lot about free agency. And Peter Schrager is the belle of the ball, as always.
Gotta be a little bit of peacocking, chest poked out, chin high.
BSing, maybe?
Yes. Look what I did last year. What are you guys going to do this year? You got to keep in mind, these are a bunch of boys that turned into men. So it's just like being in high school at the cafeteria. There's going to be a little bit of trash talking, a little bit of shoulder bumping.
Sure.
This happens every year. Do you think the guy who wins the Super Bowl should get to, like, sit on a different kind of a chair?
Yes, a throne.
Like, like Doug Peterson's on a throne, and he gets, like, the surf and turf breakfast. He gets, like, omelets made in front of him instead of having to go
he gets the head table.
get the waffle.
Yeah. I feel like they should introduce, like, the wedding party, too. You know, like you play some of the Black Eyed Peas where they get introduced one by one, like pro wrestling style.
Darude.
Exactly. Darude would work, too. Sandstorm, I'm into it. A head table for Doug Peterson.
Peter Schrager's down there in Orlando. I hope you can hear us and you're listening to these amazing ideas we have to amend what is a fabulous event down there in Orlando.
Introduce them. The Browns come out first to like a small buzz, and then at the end, Doug Peterson comes in, and everyone's giving him a standing ovation. You're absolutely right. The other part about this, Kyle, which I know Kyle loves, and we were texting about it. Look, it's an hour. There's 32 coaches. It's the only time you're going to meet with these coaches for most of the offseason if you're a media member. There's a couple things out there for free breakfast, maybe a croissant, a Danish, maybe a box of, like, you know, cereal, name brand cereal, a little mini box that you get. Do you have to eat in front of the coach? I mean, can you wait 10 minutes until you're after the hour? It was unbelievable. Guys are shoving their faces with food right an inch away from the coach of the Super Bowl winning. Guys, breakfast will be there. Just do the, and I always love that because it's, you know, this isn't like it's like a beautiful plate of Nova Lox here. It's literally Rice Krispies that have been sitting out there for a week. Hold off on the breakfast. Let's get the questions done. But no, it's a free breakfast. Media guys love to eat. That is just fact.
There's free agency and there's free food. Do not get in between Pete Prisco and some Cracklin' Oat Bran. You'll get run over. Don't do it, Peter.
Strays, what are you learning down there?
It is awesome in that room, Kay, because you're right. There's an interesting dynamic at each different table. But the one dynamic that is unifying amongst all of them is optimism for all 32 teams. This is my favorite event during the calendar year because here we are at the start of the league new year. And even if you are the Browns and you're coming out at 0-16, there is optimism. There's Jarvis Landry. There's Tyrod Taylor. There's the first and fourth pick. And then you go right down the list to the Saints, to the Patriots. Every single fan base, especially after what the Eagles did last year, believes that there is a chance that their team is going to be hoisting that Lombardi trophy. And we haven't gotten to the draft yet, but we are done with free agency. So it's almost like this halftime of the offseason, and it's this big moment where everyone's at a cross in the road, and where are we going to be, and what are we going to do with this fork in the road? And I have to say, talking to a lot of those coaches, the word is optimism. There's no doom and gloom. There's no one-word answers. Every single coach in that building has full confidence in their roster, but also in their coaching staff and their own personal ability. Nate is right. It is like the high school cafeteria right there, but at 32 different tables, you've got alpha dogs, and they all believe that their team is number one.
I like the optimism. Hoping optimism prevails for the Jets, who maybe lost out on free agency a bit. They have the draft to look forward to, trading up, so we appreciate Trays. And let's go back to Orlando now with the lead block. Because we got Todd Bowles for you. You're waking up here on the East Coast. Here's Schrags and Bowles talking Jets.
With the third pick overall, obviously you're going to meet all these kids. Is there a certain characteristic trait you're looking for to be maybe a New York Jets quarterback?
Like every position, we're looking for character guys. We're looking for leadership, obviously confidence, and it takes a different kind of guy to play in New York, whether it's the quarterback, center, linebacker. We're looking for all those type of things. Obviously, the film will speak for itself, and we'll go from there.
Of all these guys, Mayfield's got this certain swagger, and you've seen a lot of that stuff. There's comparisons to the Joe Namath kind of, personality. Does that stuff even come into play when you're looking at your draft board and say, hey, personality in addition to skills and footwork and accuracy and all that?
Personality is a good thing, along with skill and accuracy, but it's a good thing for every position to have.
My last question is, when you go to these pro days or when they come in here, what are the line of thinking as far as what you personally are looking for your quarterback, having had so many good quarterbacks as a part of a staff that you've had in the past?
Well, you try to sit down and see what makes them tick, obviously, and get a feel for who they are and what they are. And you kind of go from there and see if that matches the play. And you want to get to know the person. You kind of see everything on film from the player, so you kind of go from there.
What do you get the most out of the combine, the pro days, or the visits to the actual facility?
It's all inclusive. You know, at every pro day or every private workout I go to, regardless of position, I try to get to know the player.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it.
Great stuff with head coach Todd Bowles. Schrags is saying a lot about optimism, but they put out an offer for Ndamukong Suh. They have to rescind it. They wanted a Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins takes less money to go and play with the Minnesota Vikings. They were in on Jerick McKinnon. That didn't pan out either. They did make a nice, prepared backup move. They, crossed the T's, dotted the I's, and added some quarterbacks. They moved up. They traded, making a splash with the Colts. Now they picked 3 overall. What do they do with that pick? Nate?
That's the ultimate question, right? Do you go quarterback, even though you have quarterbacks in the room? It seems like that's the obvious choice. I keep going back to, if you're in love with a guy, you go get that guy. If that guy's not available, then from there you get the best player available. What's interesting to me about the Jets is that oftentimes we've complimented the teams that don't do anything. The San Diego Chargers, we were just talking about the Atlanta Falcons. What I do love about the Jets is they took their shots. They swung, and they swung hard. They went out there, they wanted Kirk, couldn't get him. Jerick McKinnon, Suh, and they pulled the contract back. I like hearing that versus, you know what, we didn't really like the free agents, so we didn't put any offers out there, or we didn't think that free agents would come to us, so we didn't put offers out there. I don't know what's going to pan out with the players they do have on the roster, but I love the fact that their front office is very aggressive.
A lot of people saying no to Bowles. It's like me in college. I think the quarterback is interesting, though, because, Kay, this is going to be the post-Brady Jets quarterback. We haven't seen that in almost 20 years, okay? So they got a quarterback this year. Let's say they take Rosen.
Right.
Let's say Brady lasts another couple of years. This is going to be the face of the Jets in a post-Brady, A-B generation, which is massive. I also think it's interesting if you look at the personality.
ATB, got it.
Yeah, right, ATB. Peter's talking to him, very short questions. Todd Bowles, speak softly, carry a big stick. I wonder how that jives with Josh Rosen, with Baker Mayfield. I mean, is that important? Maybe it's a yin and a yang, but it seems to me like if he was a quarterback, he would be Sam Darnold, personality-wise, demeanor-wise. I would love to see what happens with Josh Rosen or Baker Mayfield, and I think we're going to.
So you're saying, okay, well, let's say, so they pick it third. And a lot of people think that if you move up in a draft and they traded with the Colts 6-3, that you have to be in love with one guy.
Sure.
They're not guaranteed to get that guy. So now, Nate, you're saying you should just get the next best player. If the guy that you're in love with isn't there, take the next girl to the prom. But if you think that, let's say Sam Darnold's off at 1, Rosen's off at 2, should the Jets take your guy Saquon at 3?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm just curious. I need to put you on
No,
on the spot
I don't think they go Saquon because that's not an immediate need. You want to go quarterback right now. And,
why? They have Teddy Bridgewater and Josh McCown. It's the same,
But like most people are saying about this draft, I feel like it is rich, and I feel like it's much deeper than 3 quarterbacks. You still got to keep in mind there's Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and those guys could be there later on. I feel like you have to address the quarterback room because for so long, that's been the one thing we talk about every single season. Now, I love Josh McCown, and I feel like he's going to be the starter. I feel like Teddy Bridgewater should compete for the number 2 spot. What I'm doing is repeating the narrative that I hear in Jersey. I live in Jersey. I talk to Jets fans.
What's Jersey saying?
They're saying we got to go quarterback,
Yeah.
In my opinion, if you have a quarterback-rich room, which that's what they have, and they got, $15 million tied up in those 2 quarterbacks, then you go out and do something different. You can help out your quarterback with getting protection up front. You can help out your quarterback with getting a wide receiver late in the draft. You can help out the quarterback with getting a running back like Barkley, but I don't feel like Barkley's going to be there.
Yeah, he's not going to be there at 3 if he goes at 1, right? You move up to that spot to get a quarterback. But, Kay, we've talked about this around and around. I'll wrap it up. I still can't get right with paying that price to get your third choice. And you might think, oh, they'll probably do it might change. You may get jumped over to the 2 spot. You pay that price and still don't get to choose. That rubs me wrong.
Will the Bills make a jump from the 12 spot into the top 4, the top 3? Right. We'll find out right now, maybe, because we have Peter Schrager with Coach McDermott. So we'll throw it over to them. Hey, Schrags, take it away.
We're here. This is an interesting time for the Bills because you've got the 2